Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Lucas, and welcome back. We had to review the India versus Bangladesh Test match that just finished today. We'll get straight into it. Bangladesh won the toss, surprisingly, very surprisingly, decided to bowl, which was strange because usually in India you do not win the toss and bowl, you bat. However, Bangladesh did win the toss and bowled, and my goodness, they had India on the ropes. The pitch was getting a lot of seam movement off the pitch. Not so much swing, but a lot of bounce, which is very rare to see in India. A lot of bounce and seam. Kind of, looking at this pitch, if you took out this pitch and you put it in somewhere like the Gabba, you would have thought this was just an average Gabba pitch, which it was for the first day. This was an average Gabba pitch. Seam movement, a lot of bounce. Now, I don't know if that was a deliberate ploy from the BCCI to get ready for Australia, but this was a typical Brisbane day one pitch. Anyway, Bangladesh, they did win the toss and bowled. Hell of a start. Hassan was absolutely fantastic in that first innings. Had India in all sorts of trouble. Probably should have got less than what they actually did. A couple of captaincy blunders, but India were in all sorts. Rishad Pant had some counter punching resistance. But Ashwin, Jadeja, especially Ashwin and Jadeja, steadied the ship for India. They had a fantastic partnership, Ashwin and Jadeja. But when you have India on the ropes, you need to take aware of that situation, advantage of that situation. Sorry. And when Ashwin was, I think it was 13 or 14, he nicked it to the slips. Unfortunately, Bangladesh had 2 slips in, straight down the third slip's throat. So that was a very bad error from their captain. But having said that, Ashwin was absolutely brilliant in this test match. Fantastic. We'll get onto that a little bit later, but he was fantastic in that first test match with his batting. Unreal. Jadeja probably should have also got 100. Jadeja. But Ashwin, fantastic. 6th test 100. Bangladesh came out and they were very poor in their first innings with their bat. Very, very poor. Just completely got crumbled. Bumrah was fantastic. Probably the best fast bowler there is today in Test match cricket. India's young bowler Deep, well, he was on a hat trick. He was unreal with his seam movement, especially in that one over where he took 2 wickets. Unreal. And Bangladesh, they just really never recovered. India could have enforced the follow-on, but I think they wanted to keep going, to be honest. And then Rishad Pant and Shubman Gill in the second innings just completely just annihilated Bangladesh. Rishad Pant, his first match back since a horrific car accident he's had. And it's like he never missed it. He's like he never missed a game in his life. Fantastic 100. He was actually very good in the first innings as well, mind you, with a 50. But that second innings was absolutely unreal. Almost 100 ball 100. Played attacking shots. Shubman Gill, fantastic again. He's been out of form, Shubman Gill. Been under a lot of pressure lately. So it's good to see him get that 100. And then they declared, and then it was the Ashwin show in the Bangladesh second innings. He picked up 6 wickets. Ashwin. 100 runs and 6 wickets. 5-wicket haul. So a century and a 5-wicket haul. He's done that twice now. I think on that same ground. I think it's the actual same ground. He's done that twice. But again, India's lower order has bailed them out once again, like Patel did against Australia. Ashwin has done it here because, like I said, they're in trouble. All sorts of trouble. Kohli had a poor test match. I think he probably needs to make a decision what he needs to do. Does he skip some? Well, he's just recently stepped down. I think as captain of the T20 team. He made a statement a week ago. But he's out. He's horribly out of form. Just didn't look like himself in this test match. Having said that, it's been a very long time since India have played Test cricket. Very long time. There's been a long break. Yes, they've played a lot of white ball cricket, IPL, but actual Test match cricket, it's been a very, very long time. It's going to get a little bit busier at the start of this. At the end of this year and next year, when they got Australia and they've got England. So it's going to get a little bit busier. But they do get a couple of Test matches against Bangladesh. Just a warm-up tweak, see where they're at. But the second Test match starts next week. Bangladesh, I think for me, probably should have done a little bit better than what the scoreboard suggests. They should have got out Ashwin early if they kept their slips in. I don't know why you would, when you got India on the back foot. I don't know why you would take out slips and go defensively. I don't get that by their Bangladesh captain, who I think was very good in West Indies. Sorry, Pakistan, the Pakistan series. So I don't get that at all. Sri Lanka's captain also had an act of being too defensive against England, and their recent Test series, taking out slips, putting in deep fielders, and it cost them. So I'm not sure why teams are obsessed by doing that. It wasn't like India was 2 for 400. They were in a lot of trouble in this Test match, India, and I think the Bangladesh captain just took his foot off the gas and just went too defensively too quickly. But take nothing away from Ashwin's 6th Test 100. Unreal Test 100. Really needed it. And as I mentioned, the lower order of India, it seems to be saving them. It's gone all the way back to Australia. All the way back to Australia when they won that series with Washington. Even Jadeja in Sydney kept the fort. So their lower order in the last two years has been fantastic for India. Jaiswal, I was very keen to see what Jaiswal would do on this pitch when it was zipping all over the place. I think he passed. He didn't get his 100 this time, but that was probably his biggest test, a juicy, bouncy pitch, which he'll get a lot of in Australia. And he was fantastic in that first innings for a very gritty 50. You might think, well, he didn't get 100, he didn't get 150, he didn't get 200. But on those pitches, a 50 is just as good as a 100 on a flat pitch, in my opinion. And I think he passed that test. Better quality bowling in Australia, or should I say they're deeper. I think Hassan was fantastic, but he had no support from the other Bangladesh quicks. That was really disappointing. He just needed someone to hold up one end, and unfortunately had no one to do that. In Australia, you got Cummins, you got Stark, you got Hazelwood, you got Boland, you got 4 bowlers. You got Nathan Lyon, so we really got 5 bowlers that can put constant pressure on you, ball after ball after ball. And I think that's what Bangladesh missed. They missed that second seamer. Could have been so much different. So much different. Winning India, well, basically, if you win your first match of 2 Test series, you win your first match and you draw the series. And then we have conversations, are Bangladesh the best Test team in cricket right now? This one in Pakistan, draw or possibly won this Test match in India. Do we say they're the best Test match nation, but poor captaincy and no support for their quick bowler prevented that. And a great 100 by Ravi Ashwin. I thought Richard Punt's, before we end the show, I thought Richard Punt's wicket keeping was fantastic in this test match. There was a dive where he palmed it in the grebbing of between the finger and the thumb where he dived. I thought that was a fantastic take. As I said earlier, it's like he never missed a test match. He's never missed a game from that horrific car accident. Fantastic Richard Punt. Obviously, Ravi Ashwin was the man of the match. You can understand why. Come on, 5 wickets. 5-wicket haul in the second innings. Well, really, he got 6. 5-wicket haul in the second innings. A century in the first innings of his batting. Completely deserved the man of the match. But I felt like Bangladesh. I don't know, guys. I feel like Bangladesh should have won this test match. I feel like they should, or at least been in a better position. Because their second innings batting was a lot better. Their first innings batting was dreadful. Now, I don't know if it's because they thought they blew their chance, but their second innings was a lot better. It's like they had nothing to play for, which probably they didn't. They played so much better. Having said that, I thought Bangladesh's fielding over the last 2 to 3 months, especially against Pakistan, this innings, the first innings, I thought their catching and the slips has been elite. That's world class. And then early yesterday on day 2, dropped some simple catches. But I think their fielding has been very good. You want to beat Australia and Australia. You want to beat England and England. You want to beat India and India. You got to take your catches. That's one of the reasons why Bangladesh were riding this game, because of the slip catching in the first innings or the first morning. And that's credit to their fielding coach. Absolutely brilliant. But captain, don't know why you take out slips. Just because a couple of players make some shots. As a bowler, I would hate if my captain took out slips when I've got India 5 for 100 basically. And I'm, again, no disrespect to Ravi Ashwin, but he's not a premier batsman, with all due respect. And you take away a slip because he plays some shots, I don't think I'd be happy with that. So I think their captain lost the plot a bit with that. But it was Ashwin's test match. Well, it is technically Ashwin's test match. It's his home ground. And he deserves the man of the match. So anyway, that concludes the video. We will be back next week. We have actually got some shows coming up. Got New Zealand, Sri Lanka coming up soon. We've got 2 tests there. Probably do that one tomorrow. Well, it is day 5 tomorrow, so odds on we'll be doing that test match. We got the Sri Lanka and New Zealand next week's test match, and we've got India and Bangladesh next week. So we've got a couple of shows coming on the next few days. So stay tuned. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Lucas at 3 Point Spanish King or R32 Sky. Thank you so much for joining, and we will see you next week, or maybe tomorrow. We'll see you probably tomorrow for Sri Lanka and New Zealand. If not, for some reason, definitely India and Bangladesh. And we will see you next week. Thank you so much, and goodbye.